welcome to the Social Security Show. I'm your host, Daniel Sommer, Public Affairs Specialist for the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area. However, I'm not the only host. I'm not the only Public Affairs Specialist. To keep this show interesting, we brought along someone else who's also a Public Affairs Specialist. Would you care to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Sommer. I am so excited to be here with you all today on CAN TV. My name is Josephine Mueller, and I am also a Social Security Public Affairs Specialist. And Mr. Daniel Sommer and I have a great show in store for you. We have lots of information, and we're eager to get started.
I think we've got something else, though. Before we even get started, we've got a video that we just love to share with people. This video is one of my favorites because it tells you about Social Security and where we are. So by all means, Josephine, if you don't mind, tell them where we are.
Absolutely. So of course, Social Security is there for you. We are there, and we're going to go ahead and play this really nice video that encompasses all of that. We are there information for you.
Can't hear it.
Okay, let's try that.
Last a lifetime. We are there as you grow, protecting you and those you love. We are there when you get your first job, helping you to save for the future. We are there when you marry your sweetheart to help secure your new life together. We are there if the unexpected happens to help you see life from a new perspective. We are there when you start your next chapter to make sure you get off to a great start. And we are there when you lose your soulmate to help make sure you will be all right. We are with you through life's journey. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. Get to know us and see what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
This video produced at
Wonderful, wonderful video. One of my personal favorites. But what we do is we do the things that you'd be interested in. In other words, we answer frequently asked questions on the show. But before we do that, we've got to give you just a bit of a disclaimer. And I think, Josie, you'll handle explaining this very quickly for us.
Yes, thank you. Participation in this presentation does not constitute an endorsement by the Social Security Administration or its employees of the organization, and information and products not provided by Social Security.
Great.
Now that we've done that disclosure, we're going to move on with the presentation.
That's so true. So the frequently asked questions are the things that are sent to us from you. And we at Social Security are there, and we're here responding to the questions that you ask. And we'll begin being with you through life's journey with this question. And Josephine, I know you like this stuff, this retirement stuff. So this one's tailor-made for you. Which of the following statements are true when you reach full retirement age while receiving Social Security? A, you no longer have to pay taxes on your earnings. B, you can work and earn as much as you want without having to pay any of it back. C, you still have to pay FICA taxes if you work. Multiple choice here. While I was in school, I liked multiple guess questions because it gave you more than one chance, right? If you didn't know the answer at all, you were taking a chance. So here we have it. What say you, Josephine?
Well, this one here can be a little tricky because two of them out of the three are correct. And, you know, on some of our tests, when we would have these tests in, high school or in college, it would let you know, one or two are correct or none of the above. But right here, we do have two that are correct. And those two are B, and I'm going to talk about B. You can work and earn as much as you want without having to pay any of it back. So this one is true, because when you reach full retirement age, you can indeed work and earn as much as you want without having to pay any of that back. And I'm going to elaborate on this one on the next slide, but I want to give you the second part answer to it, but I'm going to let my colleague, Mr. Daniel Summer, give you an elaboration on the second correct answer. So the second correct answer is C. You still have to pay FICA taxes if you work. But Mr. Daniel Summer will go ahead and elaborate on that one. But I'm going to talk to you about the work that you can earn. You can work and earn $1 million if you're full retirement age. And this chart right here is going to show you that it reflects that. So if you look at the bottom here where it says month of full retirement and age and above. So if you take your benefit, or if you start to receive your benefit at full retirement age, then at that point, there are no limits. You can see that across the board, no limit. However, if you take your benefit under full retirement age, so if you take your benefit before you turn that full retirement age, if you take it early, and keep in mind, the earliest someone can take their Social Security retirement benefit is at age 62. So if you take your benefit early, there are limits. And this year, in the year 2021, the annual earnings limit is $18,960. So if you work and you earn that, and you go over that amount. So if you go over that amount, that's when you need to let us know. And for every $2 you go over that amount, $1 is reduced from the monthly Social Security benefit. But if you work and earn under that amount, then you don't have to report your earnings to us. You can earn this amount and collect your Social Security retirement benefit. And if it's early, it's, you can work and earn this amount and collect your early benefit. But
Wow.
once again, the answer to that question is at full retirement age, you can work and earn whatever you want.
Awesome.
Do you want to go ahead and add to that, Mr. Summer?
Well, yes, I'll go ahead on the next slide, because the interesting part about that question, Josie, was that whole part about the one that is obviously false now. You no longer have to pay taxes on your earnings. That's a dream world. Everyone has to always pay income taxes, right? I recall someone telling me, and this was before I worked at Social Security, well, when I turn 70, I don't have to pay taxes anymore. Little did I know at the time that I would later begin a career that would show me that they were wrong. And the fact is, you do have to pay taxes on your earnings. But let's get to the part of the question that addresses FICA taxes. You still have to pay FICA taxes if you work. Well, here's the good part about that. All right, this is what a FICA tax is. It's for Social Security. It does fund our programs. And if you look, you'll find the details here on this slide. But it's not all bad. It's not just a tax that you pay, because guess what? As long as you're still paying FICA taxes on your earnings, those earnings can literally increase the amount you're getting at Social Security. Even though you're being paid Social Security right now, we send you a nice letter that, hey, your earnings have increased and we owe you X amount of money for these months. It often goes back the year so that we can pay you a higher amount. So this is, if there ever was one, a good tax. The FICA taxes, which fund Social Security, not only fund Social Security, but can increase your benefit. So fear not. FICA is a good thing, Josephine. It protects us in the event of retirement, or if unfortunately someone becomes disabled.
Yes, that's a great point. And I know when I was younger, Mr. Daniel Summer, I didn't appreciate FICA as much as I appreciate it now. That first job that I got, I had a certain amount of money calculated as far as what I was going to be receiving after, I worked my 2 weeks. And then here comes the check, and I'm like, why is my check short? Who is this FICA? And, sure enough, talk to my mom, and my mom's like, that's the tax that comes out for your Social Security benefit. And at the time, I'm like,
that's 100 years from now.
I don't know about all that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at 15, that's how it feels, right? It feels like, oh, it's a long ways away. But, the time comes a lot closer. It happens very quickly. And there's a much greater appreciation for the FICA tax now, because I know, we know that it's it's the tax where you're contributing into Social Security, retirement benefits, disability benefits, and that helps us when later on in life. So I'm so glad that you touched base on what FICA is and why we're contributing to it.
Well, if it makes you feel better, it sounds like you had better counsel than I had, and you had a better enunciation, because I said, while I was on my way to that first Mustang convertible red as a teen, working toward that, I said, FICA, what's that? I pronounced it FICA. And do you know what? While flipping burgers at that fast food restaurant, even my supervisor didn't really know. So you had better counsel than me. Amazing, because
Yeah.
I too had done the math and I knew exactly how much money I was going to get. And that was taking me towards that car. I ultimately got it though, Josie. So, all right.
That's great news. That's great news. And you contributed to FICA, which is FICA.
And now here we are.
And here we are. Here we are.
Great, great. All right. We're continuing the theme of retirement, it seems.
Yes. And this one right here, I'm going to ask you, Mr. Daniel Summer. So this is one of the questions that we receive a lot, whether it's a question that somebody is calling and asking us over the phone, or it's a question that individuals ask us when they come into our local field office. And by the way, I want to mention to everyone here that is watching us today that we are still open. Social Security is still open for business. We are open in a different way. We are working remotely, so we're still working. We're taking applications. We're answering your questions, but we're doing it virtually. So if you need to get a hold of us, you can contact us via phone, or you can always mail in information to us. If you have documents that you need to get to us, you need to mail those in. Or if you would like to ask us a question or apply for benefits, you can contact us. The way you can contact us is if you visit us online at socialsecurity.gov and you type in Field Office Locator. And if you type in Field Office Locator, what's going to come up is a great locator where you're going to be able to enter in your zip code and find your local field office. And you're going to be able to find that right away. So I will show you how to access that a little bit later, but I'm going to ask you, Mr. Daniel Summer, this question first. I made more money in the last 5 years than at any time in my career. I decided to take my Social Security at full retirement age and keep working. I know that Social Security uses what I earn to decide how much I get. If I am getting Social Security now, isn't the amount that I'm getting locked in, and will it stay the same?
Great, great question. And you're right. I've heard this one more than once. But the lucky part about it, Josephine, is it plays right into what we were just talking about. When we were just saying, hey, you keep paying FICA taxes. Well, guess what? When I gave that little hint to this question that it can increase your benefits, certain things are true. It is true that when you stop and say, I'm going to take my benefit here and now, that's the amount you get every month. In a sense, it is locked. That amount is locked. It cannot go lower. However, here's the great part about Social Security. It can go higher if you continue to work. And like this individual says, he's making more money in the previous 5 years than at any point previous in his career. Well, guess what? If that trend continues and he gets a higher amount, his earnings are among the highest, he can increase his benefits each month. And it's not something he has to worry about checking on to say, is this one of the highest years or is this? We automatically do a recomputation. Our computers, as well as our staffs, are very, very smart. And it is automated. Even though people can come into the office if they really want to know quickly and their hands are out, they come in with W-2s sometimes and say, hey, am I going to get a higher benefit? And they do that early in the year. And me, when they were coming into the field office, of course, I'd type in the numbers and then say, yeah, it increases by $5 a month. Nowadays, though, with the pandemic and us being unavailable in the field office, there's a way that you can go to that. And I know that there are two words on your mind, Josephine, and they are Retirement Estimator. So you can literally type in the scenario where you make X amount of dollars next year. And what happens? Presto, you get the same information that I would have given you if I were behind the keyboard. Would you like to add anything to that, Josephine?
Absolutely. I love the two words that you mentioned, Mr. Daniel Summer, retirement estimator. And I want to show our audience where they can find those retirement resources, that retirement estimator. And I am pulling this up right now. Are you able to see my screen all right?
I sure can. It's clear as a bell.
Great. So this is our website, everyone. This is what will come up when you type in socialsecurity.gov. Now make sure when you look for us online, you type in .gov at the end, because there are other sites that may pose as Social Security sites, but they are not, and they have at the end of them a .com or a something else. We are .gov, .gov. As long as you type in socialsecurity.gov, you're going to get to our legitimate website. And so once you type in socialsecurity.gov, you're going to see what the web page looks like. You're going to see here some very user-friendly boxes. You can go ahead and click on retirement if that's the topic you're interested in. And since right now that's what we're talking about, we're going to go ahead and click on that retirement box. And once you click in there, it's going to give you a wealth of information in regards to retirement benefits. And you can learn about retirement benefits, you can apply for those benefits, and you can manage those benefits. And it's going to let you know how you can do that. But we're talking about estimators here. And, you know, in addition to information in regards to retirement, there are estimators. So as you can see right here, there's a calculator section on this page. If you go ahead and you click on the calculator section, you're going to see where another page comes up, and the section where it talks about the retirement estimator that Mr. Daniel Summer mentioned here. So retirement estimator, the two beautiful magic words that we all love to hear, because who doesn't like to plan for their future? You know, we want to make sure that we are best equipped in our future. So the best way to do that is by planning, and it's never too early to start planning for your future. So you can go ahead and click on retirement estimator. Once you click there, there's another box, estimate your retirement benefits. You can click on there, and then you can go ahead and start your verifying your identity. Once you verify your identity, it's going to get you into what's called the My Social Security account. And once you get into your My Social Security account, you're going to see that all your earnings, your personal earnings, are in there. And so then this calculator is going to take all your earnings, and it's going to estimate what your monthly Social Security benefit is and will be in the future. But as Mr. Daniel Summer stated, your benefit can change. That estimate can change. It can increase. And the more you pay into Social Security, the more you work and you earn, the higher that benefit will be. So that right there is how you get to your Social Security retirement information. That's how you get to that retirement estimator. I just wanted to show our audience that because I want them to know how to get to that. But we also talked about the field office locator. I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier, and I want to make sure that our audience knows how to get in touch with us in case they would like to get in touch with us. So what you would do is you can go to this page up or to the tab. There's a mustard, like a mustard colored tab at the very top of this page. It says Coronavirus COVID-19 Updates. You go ahead and click there. Once you click there, there's a section right here, Getting Help from Social Security. Go ahead and click there. And then if you scroll down right here, you can see call your local Social Security office. You click there. And I mean, you can also easily type in field office locator and you can get this as well. But the COVID-19 section is updates. Those are updates that are current. Anything that's new, if there's changes with our field offices, you're going to see that in the update section. So I wanted you to see that along the way of getting to the Social Security office locator. But you can use this locator to find your field office's direct line. It's so important to know how to do this because this is how you're going to be able to get in contact with us. Now, Mr. Summer, can you give me a zip code? I know you're based out of Indiana. I'm based out of Chicago, but I want to show our viewers how if you can be anywhere in the nation and be able to access your field office. So if you
I
could give me
sure
a
can.
zip code.
I sure can, because I know that this works for anywhere in the United States. So I will give you a very important zip code personal to me because I once worked in the field office in this city. So how about this zip code? 46385.
Great. So we're going to go ahead and enter 46385. So once you click locate, here you have it, Social Security office information. Now this is the address of the office in this area where Mr. Daniel Summer used to work, and there is the direct phone line. So if you need to get in contact with this office and you're located in this area, this would be the field office phone number that you contact, and you would be speaking to a local representative in your area. So that's why this is so important to know how to use. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can type in a different one, maybe in the Chicago area. Well, this is close. This is in the Joliet area. I typed in 60441. This is another field office. This is in Joliet, Illinois area. This is their field office phone number, their address. So essentially anywhere you're at, wherever you're at, you can type in your zip code and you can find your local field office's phone number. And once you do that, you'll be able to get in contact with a representative. If you need to apply for benefits and you want to do that over the phone, you can call a representative and set up an appointment. Or just if you have a question in regards to your benefits, whether that's retirement benefits, disability benefits, Medicare benefits, you can contact us. And we want to let you know that we are still here for you. You can still get in touch with a Social Security representative.
It's a super easy tool, and I gotta confess, I literally used it this morning when I needed to find the office for a zip code because someone needed to get something, and I typed in the zip code, and what do you know? There's a Social Security office in Woodstock, Illinois, and that is their local office. So it's a super easy tool. I wouldn't use it if it wasn't as simple as typing in the zip code. So just know you've got this at your fingertips, and you'll talk to the real people who are in your neighborhood who will be processing your claims. So when we talk about getting it from the source, which is the name of a very famous newsletter, we're talking about making sure that you get your information directly from Social Security. And what could be better than actually talking to the people who, when you file a claim online, that are actually going to be processing it? Not that there's anything wrong with our 800 number. Our teleservice center workers work very hard, but to get it right from the source and to get that call answered just a bit more quickly by what may turn out to be a person who's handling your case, use that field office locator. You won't regret it. Now, Josephine,
Absolutely.
there are more questions, because even though these are frequently asked questions, we at Social Security are frequently asked questions. And here's another one of them. All right, another retirement question. That seems to be an ongoing theme here. So here we are, and this one's for you. My wife is age 62. She retired in the middle of June. At that time, when she stopped working, she got a huge bonus for unused vacation and severance. I know that the bonus is way more than someone is allowed to make for the year. Will she have any penalties or have to pay the money back if she files for Social Security? So we're dealing with someone who capitalizes huge and way. So this is a lot of money that they've received. And we did go over that annual earnings limit with you a moment ago. So this is pretty important and ties into your question. So will she have any penalties or have to pay the money back if she files?
Well, when we are looking at the earnings record, what we're looking is that you are actively working and receiving that money at the same time. So right here, what it sounds like is that this individual received a bonus for unused vacation and severance. So this is a bonus. So we don't count that This is considered what's called special wages. And so therefore, this would not affect this individual because it is a bonus that they are receiving, and they are receiving what is considered special wages. And we have more information in regards to special wages and how they do not affect you on our website at socialsecurity.gov.
You know, I bet that's a big relief to people, because it's a question that I would get so frequently when people would come to my desk and they'd say, yeah, but I'm going to get all this money. Won't that count against that 18,000 whatever dollars? And the answer to that is a great big no, right? The answer is no, because those aren't wages. Let's keep in mind that this is a retirement program. And you're muted, Josephine. This is a retirement program. And the fact is, we're not looking at whether or not you have money. We're looking at whether or not you have money that you've earned from work. So even if you scratch off the winning lottery number and you get $1 million right after you applied for retirement, guess what? Those aren't wages. We're looking to see, are you working? And if so, have you cut back your work so far to the point that we consider you effectively retired? And that is the distinction. We're not trying to keep you from having money. We're paying you when, in the case of an early retirement before full retirement age, we are paying you based on the fact that you've either stopped working or cut your work so far down that we can consider you effectively retired from work. And that line is our annual earnings limit. Josephine?
Absolutely. So, and I did mention the fact that, we have publications that talk about special wages on our website. So I want to show everybody how to gain access to our publications, because I think this is another very important section of our website where people can obtain a wealth of knowledge. So as you can see here, I have our web page back up. And if you scroll down, you're able to see where there's a section, a little box where it has publications. You can click on our publications here. And once you click on there, we said those were considered special wages. So you can go ahead and type in special wages. Here comes up special payments. So special payments after retirement. So if you look at this publication right here, it talks about how special payments for work done before retirement, such as bonuses, vacation pay, and commissions, do not count toward the Social Security earnings limit. So here you have it, everyone. It's right here, written on our website, that they do not count towards the Social Security earnings limit.
Right.
And if you click on the PDF, you're able to open that up and you're able to see the actual publication. And I'm going to go ahead and actually show you the publication, because I want you to see what it looks like once you open that PDF. And here you go. This is a publication that talks all about special payments after retirement. So if you're interested in more information, please visit our website, click on publications, type in special payments after retirement, and you'll have all the information at your fingertips.
That is absolutely wonderful, and a resource that people can use whenever they have questions. Those publications have often frequently asked questions in them and their answers. And it's broken down in such a way. I mean, we know that everyone is not a Social Security scientist or a social insurance specialist. You don't need to be, because we make sure that the publications that are distributed explain it in everyday plain language and with examples that make it much, much easier to comprehend. So we're always available to you if after reading those, you find that, hey, but my situation's a little different. We're still there. We are there. Josephine, great answer. And I loved this question because it's going right into our theme of we're talking about these retirement benefits today. And these are the questions that I would get on the phone or at the desk. And it seems there's another one up.
Yes, and I'm going to go ahead and ask you this one, Mr. Daniel Summer. I heard that the average Social Security benefit is $1,503 per month. I read that the state with the highest payout is New Jersey, and people there get an average of $1,688 per month. I want to move so I can get more benefits when I retire. Which state pays the highest benefits?
I like this question. This is a thinking man's question, is it not, Josephine? Get the most. They figured out the average payment, $1,503 a month, and they decided, Jersey, that's the place for me. Well, hold on a minute, because there may be a little misunderstanding going on here. Remember, when you receive Social Security benefits, it is based on your work and earnings. And we're going to talk about that on the next slide, but we're not going there just yet. But bear in mind, because I had to do a little research when I saw this one, because you are in fact correct. The state with the highest payout is New Jersey, and they do get what almost looks like we're getting close to $200 more than average, right? But there are other states. I can look at, like Connecticut has a higher than average payout. New Hampshire, Michigan, even right here in Indiana, where I am. But before you pack your bags, there's something I need to explain. Just moving there doesn't increase your check. The states pay the most benefits based on the people there earning more money. And let's think about it. If you move somewhere, even if that were true, where the cost of living was higher, you'd either negate or even just lose more of your benefits. But the next slide is going to go to my main point about answering this question. If you move, just remember, benefits, if it says under there, are based on earnings. So no matter where you move, you get the same amount. Step one, your wages that you've earned are adjusted for changes in wage levels over time. There's no difference in the way New Jersey calculates it from New York or California or Arkansas or Texas or Mississippi. The same formula based on the same number. So it's going to come out the same for you. We find the monthly average of your 35 highest earnings years. And the result is the average index monthly earnings. From that, we determine what your payments are. Now, just because I guess those folks in Jersey are really stacking up the cash, I don't know how much it costs to live in Jersey, even though I've been there. That doesn't mean that your benefits change as you move from state to state. It simply doesn't. Josephine, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I'm just so glad that you brought this point up, because it's so important to keep that in mind, that the benefit is based off of the highest 35 years of earnings. And in our earlier frequently asked question, we had an individual that asked, or mentioned that the last 5 years of their work earnings were the highest. But there are some individuals that have, higher earnings in the middle of their work career. And so some people that may have higher earnings in their middle of their work career may be a little concerned and think, oh, well, my benefit is based off of the last 5 years or the last 10 years of my earnings, or, and that's something that is simply not true. We look at your overall earnings and we take the highest 35 years of your work earnings, and that is how your monthly Social Security benefit is calculated. And it ultimately, that's what it comes out to. And yes, in some states, the cost of living is different and people earn different amounts, based on what state they're living in. But ultimately, it's the highest 35 years of your work earnings. That is how your monthly Social Security retirement benefit is calculated.
And to your point, Josephine, before we leave this one, there's one more thing we need to talk about. That's step one. Your wages are adjusted for changes in wage levels over time. People look at the raw numbers, like I made $40,000 this year, $50,000 this year. I once had a gentleman come into my office and he'd made about $16,000 that year, right? And he was fuming mad. He said, wait a minute, this is the second or third year in a row, and I've been receiving my retirement benefits, and they're still using my wages from 19, I think it was 59 and 60 instead of this. And then I only made or $5,000. And I explained to him, wait a minute, we inflate those wages that were made back then to today's, unless they were made in the last 2 years. And that adjustment that we inflate it to is what we're talking about when we say they're adjusted for changes in wage levels over time. His response, Josephine, was, well, whatever small difference that might make, it can't come up to the $17,000. And I said, you wait right there. I said, and I used my finger, I pointed, I said, you wait right there. And I went and I got the wages after they were adjusted and a copy of the raw amounts that he actually made. And I set them side by side. And I showed him this chart that we have that shows if the wages were in 1960, whatever, it's 4.5 times that, 5.1 this, 8 point, or what have you. And instead of $17,000 or so, that $4,000 or $5,000 was being counted like $65,000 today. And I said, now, if you want me to use $17,000 instead of $65,000 in the calculation, you know what's going to happen? Your benefits are going to drop substantially. And he says, wow, we call that indexing. And it is so powerful because we know that the $5 you made and put in a gas tank in 1965 is quite different from the $5 you make and put in a gas tank in 2021. So we adjust for the time when you made it, not just when we pay it to you. Again, Social Security is trying to secure, and we favor the math to your benefit. So fear not. Remember, moving won't help you, but wage indexing will.
Yes, and then we also have cost of living increases. And, you know, we just had one this year. So in the year 2021, we've had a 1.3% cost of living increase that many of our Social Security recipients have received. And that went into effect January of 2021. And many of the individuals that are receiving Social Security retirement benefits, disability benefits, and SSI received their letter at the beginning of the year showing and reflecting that they received a 1.3% cost of living increase.
So true. This is probably the one agency on the planet that's not trying to nickel and dime you. Social Security is not trying to take benefits away. We're trying to pay you more so that it is fair to you based on your FICA contributions from your work and earnings, so that just as we always have since 1935 in the Great Depression, so that we can ensure that members of the American public, when they retire or become disabled, have an amount of money that can sustain their life. All right, there's another question that I have for you, because I just loved all of these retirement questions so far, and they all grouped together, so this is making a little more sense to me. So here's one that I think you'll enjoy, Josephine. All right, since the pandemic, my job is shut down. I am unemployed due to COVID-19 and have been thinking about getting unemployment benefits. Can I get both unemployment and retirement benefits at the same time?
That is a great question. And like you said, this is a very frequently asked question, and especially during these times right now. And, you know, as far as Social Security, we don't look at your unemployment as a earnings. So we're not counting that towards your earnings record, because you have to be working, actively working for those earnings to affect you when you're collecting Social Security retirement benefits. So, you know, we don't ask you to report to us what you're receiving from unemployment. However, unemployment may ask you if you're receiving retirement benefits from Social Security. So it's important to contact the Department of Unemployment and ask them if your Social Security retirement affects your unemployment benefit. But as far as with Social Security, your unemployment is not going to affect your Social Security benefit, because we're not looking at those as working wages, because you have to be actively working for those wages to count against the earnings limit. Anything to add to that, Mr. Summer?
Sure. And I've had many, many people come in and they're receiving unemployment and they're receiving retirement benefits, and they've talked to the employment division, they've talked to us. Retirement benefits don't hinge on whether you're ready, willing, and able to work. And my understanding is unemployment benefits do. But just because you're receiving retirement, that doesn't make you not ready, not willing, or not able. So in most instances, in fact, people have at it and they're able to work or search for work because, as you know, we don't care if people are working because we even have an annual earnings limit. As long as we know what the earnings are and or they're below the annual earnings limit, you don't even have to report it to us beyond that unless they exceed that amount. So great question, and a timely one, because with COVID-19, unemployment is pretty rampant here. And those people who are of age to receive their retirement benefits might want to consider filing for them. Good stuff. I love it.
Yes. So we're going to move on to the next great question. And this one is in regards to Medicare. And I know, Mr. Summer, you love Medicare, so I'm going to go ahead and give this one to you. So I went to sign up for Medicare with Social Security. For the life of me, I cannot understand, why do I have to do this with Social Security? Wouldn't it make more sense for me to just go directly to a Medicare office?
Logic, but there's only one problem, Josephine, because it does make sense. But the problem is this: you know, boogeyman, ghosts, there's no such thing, they tell you, right? You can't go to the Medicare office because even though Medicare are really our partners in a lot of ways, we sign people up for Medicare, we answer certain Medicare questions, we can't answer them all. But there is no Medicare office which you can simply walk into and get the kind of service like you do from us. So see, we're appreciated by people because we are there. We are Social Security. Now, that's not a knock against Medicare because they're very cooperative with us. In fact, we have the kind of partnership that we know that when people are approaching Social Security age, they're approaching Medicare age. So why not make it easier for people who may be considering Medicare or need a place to go to come right into our offices, and we can help them do it all at once or even at separate times. So while it might make more sense, we don't want you having to run all over town looking for the Medicare office that simply doesn't exist. The 1-800 Medicare number is there for you. And for certain questions, that is where we will direct you. But you want to sign up for Medicare? You've got some questions about how Medicare works with regard to interfacing with your insurance at work, we're the place to go to, and we make it easy for you. Josephine, would you like to add anything to that?
Yes, I just want to let our viewers know that here at Social Security, we sign you up for Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B only. And there are several different parts of Medicare. Medicare has Parts A, B, C, D, and then there's a few other letters of the alphabet plans that they have that I'm not too familiar with, but I'm very familiar with Part A and Part B because at Social Security, those are the two parts, which is considered original Medicare. Those are the two parts that we enroll you in. And Medicare Part A, many of you may be wondering, well, what is Medicare Part A then, Josephine? Well, Part A is hospital insurance. So Medicare Part A covers emergency hospital visits. And you might be wondering, well, since you know about Part A and Part B, well, what does Part B cover? Well, Medicare Part B covers regular doctor's visits, and it covers 80% of regular doctor's visits. So those are the two parts that we enroll you in. And if you would like to apply for Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B, you can visit the field office locator and give us a call so we can set you up with an appointment, or you can apply online. It's a very simple application. You can go to our website at socialsecurity.gov and you can apply for Medicare online. It takes about anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes to apply for Medicare online. And it's very user-friendly. You can start the application, and then if you want to, come back to it later on, you can come back to it. And I actually want to share my screen because I want to show you how to get to our Medicare application. So that way, if you are interested in applying for Medicare and you haven't applied, you're not receiving Social Security benefits at this time, and you're interested in applying for Medicare, you can go ahead and do that online. So I'm going to get you to that screen. But do you have anything to add to that, Mr. Summer?
Sure, you must be psychic because I think this is our last question for the day, and I wanted you to show everyone just how simple it is to go on there. And Medicare is among our easiest applications. I have so many people who tell me, that application was so simple. I thought that I did something wrong. And I'm like, no, it's just very easy, very abbreviated. People do it in 20 minutes, they tell me, or less. And the greatest part about it is when people have that concern, like maybe I did it wrong because that was too simple, our applications are all, whether it's for retirement, for Medicare, for disability, for SSI, or for a Social Security card. They're all looked over by our staff. That real life group of people who are in your zip code that you find on the office locator aren't just answering the phones. They are looking at these applications. And if something were not correct, we'd contact you. We'd communicate with you about it, normally by mail, or we can call you. But generally, we don't do that unless you've filed an application. So if you'd like, go ahead and show us just a bit about that application because, again, it's going to be among the simplest things you do on your computer.
Absolutely, it sure is. So here we are at our webpage, and as you can see, this box right here, it says Medicare enrollment, and you go ahead and you click on that box, and then it takes you right here. It gives you a little bit of information in regards to Medicare, Part A and Part B, and then it gives you some publications on the right side, related information, so you can review that before you actually go in and apply. And then it talks about the different enrollment periods. And here we go, apply for Medicare. It's as simple as that. You just click on this right here, click on that, apply for Medicare, and then you go ahead and you accept the terms of service after you read them, and then you can go ahead and click if you understand and agree to these terms, and then you hit next, and you just follow the prompts, and you are in the Medicare application.
Awesome. That is just amazing. That's when you want to apply for Medicare only. I mean, we make it as easy as possible for you to hand pick and select whether you want to apply for the retirement or the retirement and Medicare or just Medicare. So come, make that Social Security my account, and you'll be glad you did because there are many, many things, not just that retirement estimator we talked about, not just that field office locator we talked about, but you can find out different scenarios, a spouse's benefits. What am I going to get as a widow? When am I eligible for that? What's going to happen if I earn this amount next year instead of that amount? There are all scenarios that you can play out, and you can test before actually having to file. You can look at all the information we have on the site before or after you talk to someone at the Social Security Administration. So you'll be as informed as you want. As long as you want to look there and have the My Account, you can decide, I'll file today or not, without even making an appointment. No waiting weeks or a month for an appointment, no pushing, no shoving, no risk of COVID. You can do all those things right from the comfort of your own home. It's all at your fingertips. Josephine?
Yes, and I'm so glad that you mentioned the My Social Security account, because with this account, you're going to have access to many of our services that we would do online. You'll be able to request, or in our offices, you'll be able to request a replacement Social Security card. You're going to be able to look at your earnings record, see those estimates, all of those great things that you talked about, Mr. Daniel Summer. You're going to be able to do that, and you're going to be able to do that in the comfort of your own home. And this right here, as you can see, it talks about our online services, this page, and then right here is the My Social Security, and you go ahead and you click on sign in, sign up, so that you can have access to that. And then you're going to have everything at your fingertips. You're going to be able to do lots of Social Security business online in the comfort of your own home. But in addition to the My Social Security account, I wanted to let our viewers know about something very important, something that's happening right now, and I want them to be aware of it. And it's about scams and fraud. And at this time, there are individuals that are calling people claiming to be Social Security representatives, and they are not. They're just trying to obtain your information. They're threatening you. They're telling you that your Social Security number is suspended or it is locked. And if you receive a call like this, or you receive a message like this, hang up the call if you receive a call like that. And if you receive a message like that, don't call them back, because it's not us. We would never do that. We would never threaten you, be aggressive with you, or tell you that your number has been suspended or locked. And I know, Mr. Summer, you have had some experience with this. You actually received a call yourself. Can you let our viewers know a little bit about your experience?
For sure. I've received calls more than once. People telling me, the Social Security guy, Mr. Social Security, that they're from Social Security and that they're going to suspend my Social Security number. And there's no such thing. You can't suspend a Social Security number. I've heard things, your number has been associated with many serious federal crimes. You can be prosecuted and arrested. Guess what? We're not law enforcement. We're the Social Security Administration. We pay checks to you when you retire and become disabled. See, I don't have a star or a sheriff's badge. Neither do you, Josie. That's a nice outfit, but there's no official insignia on it that says you can take people to jail, because we at Social Security would never tell you that. So the instant you hear that, it's a scam. The instant you hear someone say, we'll increase your benefit if you give us this information, it's a scam. The minute you hear someone say, if you don't give us this information, we'll stop your benefits, it's a scam. Because guess what? There are very rigid rules, and you're entitled to benefits or you're not entitled to benefits. And we don't need your information about your Social Security number because we gave it to you. We already have it. We had your Social Security number, frankly, before you did. So why would I need to ask you how old you are, your date of birth, your address, your Social Security number? Our records will have that. The only people who really need that information are people who are trying to pretend to be you. So they want to get your Social Security number so they can use it for credit or ID theft. Don't fall for it. Social Security just doesn't need your Social Security number. We've got millions of them, don't we? So just remember to use a little hesitation, and we are never, ever offended. Even if you were called by the real Social Security office, and I've had it happen, and people weren't comfortable, and I give them the resources to tell them to call their local office. So just get on the field office locator, type it in, call and ask if that person's legitimate. Because frankly, we don't just call you out of the clear blue sky to ask you a bunch of questions. You haven't filed an application for anything or made any requests, then we're not likely to call you. And in fact, Josephine, a lot of these people don't even know the names of the people. They'll ask you your name. Now, if Social Security was conducting official business and I intentionally picked up the phone to call you Josephine, I would know who you are. So just be cautious and watch out for those red flags. Know the threat that these people are intending to make money and to profit at your expense, and you don't want that.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing your experience, because I think many of our viewers have also had some experience with receiving a fraudulent phone call. And if you have received that call, write the number down. You can report it to oig.gov. There's a form on the website where you can go ahead and you can fill out, enter in the fraudulent phone numbers that have called you, and they are investigating all of those numbers that are reaching out to people fraudulently claiming to be Social Security representatives, and they are not. But today we had an awesome show. We love talking to you about Social Security benefits and programs. Mr. Daniel Summer and I, that is just something that we really enjoy and love to do. We love the public to be informed about Social Security benefits and programs. And not only do we do this here on CAN TV live, and I know we are also on YouTube with CAN TV and talk about Social Security benefits and programs, but we also do presentations for organizations, for advocates, and our partners here in the Chicagoland area and the Indiana area, because we are still here for you, and we want you to be informed, and we want the community to be informed about Social Security, and we have answers for you, and we want you to be informed. So Mr. Daniel Summer and I are available for any future presentations that our community members, our advocates, community leaders, if they would like or are interested in a presentation, please contact Mr. Daniel Summer or I. The way you could get a hold of us is if you go to josephine.mueller@ssa.gov or daniel.summer@ssa.gov. You can email us with your request for any presentations that you may like. Do you have anything to add to that, Mr. Summer?
For sure. Just let them know you want Josie and Danny, because we'd love to meet with you. We'd love to talk to you. We actually would love to be the actual hosts there. I'd like to not send somebody else in our place. I'd love for us to be the ones to discuss this with you. And sometimes we do have a cadre of incredible people who work with us. But get a hold of us and we'll discuss everything else. We love to be at your party, whether it's a retirement seminar, whether it's a disability seminar, whether you've got questions about Medicare, or all of the above and more. We can do it. So remember, Social Security, we're with you throughout life's journey.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for having us here. We hope you have a wonderful Friday. And as always, the information that we provided today is current as of January 15, 2021. Things in policies do change from time to time. So we want you to, if you are watching this video, to ensure that you are watching it here now in January 15, 2021. But if you're watching this a year later or 2 years later, or even more years later, please make sure you visit our website at socialsecurity.gov to ensure the information is still current. Thank you for being with us, everyone, and take care. Stay safe.